Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, you're right, Phoenix is getting hotter earlier and the heat is lasting longer. Also tonight, we'll talk about the integrity of elections and other voting issues with the Secretary of State and the Maricopa County Recorder. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Donald Trump Jr. spoke today at ASU in Tempe. Trump campaigning for his father, Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump Sr. The younger Trump spoke at the Sun Devil Recreation Center gym on campus.
Something great that I heard the other day, and it really pertained to academia, and since we're on a college campus, I thought it was pretty profound. He said, you know what, today on college campuses, they want everyone to look different but think the same. And that's really very much what it is. They want everyone to look different, but if you have a different thought, you're going to be stigmatized. And it's great to be able to see this many people show up on a campus, talk about conservative values, talk about government that's failed them, and be here to really rebel against that, because it is time to drain the swamp.
Donald Trump Sr. is expected to make a campaign stop in Phoenix on Saturday afternoon, either at the Phoenix Convention Center or the state capitol. Phoenix broke a record today. We hit 100 degrees at Sky Harbor. The previous record for the state, 98 degrees back in 2001. This is also the latest date for 100-degree high in Phoenix. The previous mark was set on October 23rd, 2003. And the normal high for today, 84 degrees, all of which raises the question, what the heck's going on? For answers, we turn to National Weather Service meteorologist Paul Iñiguez. Welcome to Arizona Horizon.
Hello.
Thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
You ready for some questions here?
I will do my best.
Might be a little testy because it's just so warm outside. I mean, what is going on?
You know, we have a lot of things going on here in Phoenix which are contributing to the heat that comes in earlier and does stay later. We see that's really borne out by the statistics. You start thinking about it, there's different layers. So we have the biggest influence is going to be the urbanization that takes place. So we chatted a little bit earlier, you said you've been here off and on since the 70s, right? And we really see that showing up in the data, that the urbanization, all the concrete, the asphalt, it takes in all that solar energy during the day, all that sun's energy, and really hangs on to it at night. So people really notice the stuff at night. The temperatures, lows in the 90s, we have that every summer. That didn't used to happen.
It didn't.
It was not common at all. Now it happens without fail every single summer.
And it sounds as though, and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds as though the temperatures aren't, skyrocketing, 126, 128, 130, those sorts of things. The highs are still kind of the same. It's that nighttime low. That's getting higher.
Yeah, we see it borne out a couple of ways. So like the big signal with urbanization, we see a lot of the overnight low temperatures. It's really pushing those up. But even the daytime temperatures, we do see the urbanization taking effect there. So that's the first signal. It's going to be our strongest. But we also have regional warming that's taking place. And then we do have a bit more muted the background. The planet as a whole is warming. But you don't see those big temperatures like you're talking about. So our all-time high temperature, Phoenix has had 122 degrees. That was set back in 1990. It's 26 years ago that happened. So we aren't continuing to climb. It's not like we're going to hit 140 next summer, right? But what we see is more a broadening of that heat season, the shoulders of it. That heat comes in a little earlier, stays a little bit later, and just consistently doing that over time.
But why are these higher temperatures, these warmer temperatures, I should say, why are they starting earlier? I can maybe understand why they're lasting longer just because the latent heat and all that business. But it's starting earlier as well, correct?
Right, yeah, and so that's part of that regional signal that we're seeing in there as well. So the Southwest definitely has an upward trend in the temperatures, and that's really what we expect with, you look at the projections with climate change, these projections have been, climate scientists started doing this 30 years ago, making projections on what was going to happen with the planet, and we're seeing that continually borne out. Last year, for the planet as a whole, 2015 was the warmest on record. We did not have our hottest year here locally in Phoenix. 2014 was hotter, but even right now, we're on pace to be in the top 5 for 2016. But it's like year after year, we're bumping right up towards the top.
And we got global warming, we got regional warming, we have local warming. Will any of this warming ease? Do we see it just seems like the trend is just going in one direction.
Why would it?
Yeah.
There's really no reason to see that happening. I mean, the urban environment we continue to build. There's a lot of really good research that goes on with folks at Arizona State, looking at the built materials, that there are things we can put in place to make our cities communities cooler. But of course, that costs money, and those things usually end up costing a bit more. That's outside my expertise, but there are
Right.
things we can do to mitigate what impact the sun has on us. So I mean, outside of that kind of stuff, the atmosphere continues to take up more and more carbon. That's a kind of a newsworthy item recently. The minimum CO2s in the atmosphere for this year, we normally have our minimum in the summertime, Northern Hemisphere summertime, is a 401 parts per million. So it's the first time that we've had that minimum above that 400 threshold, and just continues to climb. It's been doing this for decades now.
So, do we now expect to see a shorter spring, a longer summer, a shorter fall?
I don't see any reason why this doesn't keep continuing, why it just doesn't continue. I mean, that we have this heat seasoning just slowly building out, and more of those really warm temperatures too. So the heat does have a very, right now it's mostly unpleasant for us. We kind of hate it, right? We want the fall to come in. We're sick of the summer. We've been dealing with it for 5-6 months. We want it to cool down. We want to enjoy our nice afternoons and evenings for living here, for putting up with the summer.
Yes.
But, the heat has an extremely real impact during the summertime where it's just deadly. It can be too hot even for us. And we do have a lot of deaths, mortality, and morbidity that takes place. We look at statistics that come from the county health department. We've had upwards of 90 people die from heat just in Maricopa County this year. And you don't really hear a lot of that stuff. You hear about maybe the hikers here
Sure.
and there, but that's a lot of people. I mean, how many people die from lightning strikes or flash floods or our big dust storms? It's not nearly that much.
Well, those of us who even tinker in the yard and do yard work or do gardening or whatever the case, but you can tell it's just not the same.
Right. And if you look at the statistics, the folks that do end up succumbing to heat, it's not, your Uncle Bob who's visiting from Chicago and it happens to be 115 degrees that day and he doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
Folks that have lived here for a long time, and they're just exerting themselves too much. They aren't paying attention to their signals, and unfortunate things happen.
Is this a self-perpetuating kind of a situation? As that temperature range gets broader, the shoulders, as you mentioned, get bigger, do they just get bigger because they're getting bigger?
It's just gonna keep going. I mean, this absolutely is not to say that we're never going to get cold or anything by any means. So, we can still get below freezing. It's pretty rare that it actually happens, but it can. Those are weather fluctuations. So we want to, like today was the 100-degree day, the latest we've had, and that's weather. But it becomes a data point in the climate of the Phoenix area. So we take a step back and we look at these long-term trends, and that's what we see. So the climate is always punctuated by the weather, so it's going to be periods where it's going to get cold. We might get some point where we get snowflakes in downtown. It can still happen.
Yeah.
But, we're going to keep seeing it warming up. There's absolutely no reason to expect that to not happen.
Does that radical stuff, the snowflakes in downtown Phoenix, does that radical stuff increase as temperatures increase? Or, a little more volatile, in other
For
words?
stuff like that, it's so dependent on the weather, the short-term fluctuations
Yes.
of the atmosphere. It's really hard to draw statistics out from that. I mean, if you look at stuff for the summer, the monsoon season, like how much fluctuations there. I mean, there's not really any strong trends there in the precipitation. Perhaps a slight downward trend, but the temperature trends are very dominating.
And correct me if I'm wrong, we have a La Nina coming up for this winter, which means warm and dry.
A weak La Nina, so right now the odds favor it being warmer than average as a whole for the winter and drier than normal. But that doesn't mean that the opposite could happen. They're probabilistic outlooks forecasts.
Well, last winter was supposed to be an El Nino, and
Right.
that wasn't any great shake. So
For the Southwest, it wasn't. We had a very strong El Nino in place, and we were expecting it to be wet because that's what our models, our statistics, our knowledge tells us would happen. But that didn't end up happening, of course. So for many other parts of the planet, they had the impacts that you would expect from a strong El Nino. It just didn't happen to happen here.
So we could have an outlier La Nina.
Absolutely. That's, we're trying to predict the future, and you're not always right when you're trying to predict the future.
Well, good job with your research regarding what I think we all kind of figured out anyway, and that is it gets hotter earlier and lasts longer. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Get the inside scoop on what's happening at Arizona PBS. Become an insider. You'll receive weekly updates on the most anticipated upcoming programs and events. Get the insider delivered to your email inbox. Visit azpbs.org to sign up today.
Election Day is about a week and a half off, but early voting in Arizona is well underway. The election is shadowed, though, by claims that the vote can be and possibly is being rigged. Joining us now to address these and other concerns is Maricopa County Recorder Helen Purcell. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
So is this election being rigged?
No,
What are you doing over there? How are you rigging this thing? Because that's all I'm hearing now. It's going to be rigged.
but we're not. We're not. We're doing an election as we always have. We've already, as you said, we've already started with the early voting. We've got 600,000 early ballots already back in the House. We'll be doing our logic and accuracy test with the Secretary of State tomorrow, and after that we will start counting those ballots. We have a system that's kind of encapsulated in our area, so it's not on the internet or anything, so I don't know how people think it can be rigged.
I was going to say, when you hear people say that, we got to monitor the polling places, we got to watch what you're doing, we got to watch what everyone's doing, because it's out there. They're planning on rigging it. What do you think?
Well, but just think of some of the things that we have in place. As I said, our logic and accuracy test on our equipment before we even start counting the first ballot. And then we go through the election day, the results come in. We also have a hand count that we do, a 2% hand count of every precinct, so that we know that those hand count figures are the same as we had on election day. So we have so many things in place for protection of the voter and their ballot.
All right, so let's get to some concerns we've had in the past. We've talked about these with you in the past as well. The polling places, the wait times. What is being done to monitor and or reduce wait times?
Well, we've put a plan in place that we gave to the federal court, but we put a plan in place that will have enough electronic poll books, have enough polling places. We'll have 724 polling places, about 5,000 poll workers across the county. We have 120 troubleshooters that will be going around the county all day long to make sure that that wait time is not infringed upon. We hope to have it at least no more than 30 minutes. And then we have backup machines if we need to put those in, if we're seeing some areas where there might be a little bit longer. So we've got a plan in place to do that.
You said 724?
724 polling places.
Okay, compare that to the August primary, compare that to the March presidential preference election, which had all the problems.
We always have 724 for our regular primary and general election. So we had that in August, and we'll have it in November. At our March election, that's a special election, so we can reduce the number of polling places. We reduced them too much, and that was an issue. And we certainly knew that after the election.
And that issue has been addressed.
It has been addressed, yes.
As far as the early ballots, can you take your early ballot to the polling place?
Absolutely.
Do you have to stand in line?
No. Nobody has to stand in line. If they've already got their early ballot in their hand, they can go right in and put that in the box for the early ballots.
What is the deadline for you? If I want to mail in my early ballot, I better not wait till November 6th or 7th, should I?
No, I wouldn't mail it in after November 1st. I think that gives us plenty of time. The post office has given a little bit longer in getting mail to you and back to us, so I would certainly give it plenty of time, and we're saying November 1st.
As far as people dropping off ballots at polling places in Maricopa County, what's going on there?
Anybody is allowed to do that.
I mean, more than one. I mean, someone else's ballot.
They're allowed to do that. There is no prohibition for us as election workers to do anything with a person that comes in with ballots. If they come into the polling place and drop their ballots off, they drop them off in the box just like anybody else.
Does that adhere to state law against collecting ballots?
That is a criminal sanction against ballot harvesting,
Yes.
which is under appeal right now. But we are not in charge of doing anything about the criminal laws that are in place.
So you're not enforcing the law?
There was nothing in the law that said, election officials, you need to do this, this, and this. Nothing about that at all.
How do I know where to vote?
Well, you can go on the website. You can go to maricopa.vote, and you can find your polling place. Just put your name in and it will tell you your polling place. You must go to your polling place, your assigned polling place for your precinct.
And if I go to the wrong polling place, what happens?
If you vote out of your precinct, that vote will not count. So we have added additional language, not only in training our poll workers, but also at the polling place. There will be a warning on the back of the e-poll book that if you're voting out of precinct, that vote will not count.
But you shouldn't even be able to get past the people checking off your name.
That's right, and that's where it is, at
Yes.
the electronic poll book. That's
Right.
where that sign's going to be.
So you should not even be able to vote at the wrong place, even if you want to vote at the wrong place.
Well, if you insist, we have to give you a provisional ballot if you
Interesting.
insist.
Okay.
But that electronic poll book can give you a receipt that will show you the correct polling place and the major cross streets to that polling place.
And as far as now in Tempe, there's some incorrect information in Tempe on a couple of polling places. What happened with that, and has that been addressed and fixed?
Yes, when the early ballots, when the sample ballots go out, it will have the correct polling place on there. That was a change we did in the polling place after we sent that information out.
Okay. So if I bring a box of ballots in there, I could be committing a crime. You're still going to take them?
I don't have the authority to do anything about that. Nobody gave me that authority. And if I don't have that authority, I can't do that. That is a state law. If somebody else catches you, and if that goes to the county attorney or to the attorney general, they certainly have that prerogative to do that.
All right, your biggest concern, we got like 30 seconds left here. Your biggest concern for this election, as far as getting these votes tabulated, security, polling places, the whole 9 yards.
My biggest concern has always been to make the voter feel like everything is good in that election, that everything is safe in that election. And when we're hearing these things out there, that's what concerns me the most. To tamp down those things that are being said that are really not true.
All right. It's good to see you again. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Okay.
We just heard from the Maricopa County Recorder on election concerns. We now get a statewide view of the upcoming vote with Arizona's Secretary of State, Michelle Reagan. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining us. Yeah. Your biggest concern now regarding the election. What's a challenge out there? What are you worried about?
Well, right now we are testing all the ballot equipment in all 15 counties. Most people don't realize, and they're pleasantly surprised to hear when they find out that we test all the ballot equipment in every county before every election. So right now we are going around the state for the 4th time this year.
4th time. Okay. We keep hearing that the election is rigged, that somehow the election will be hacked, will be rigged, will be compromised in one way, shape, or form. How do you respond to that?
It'd be very hard to do, being that the election systems in the states are so decentralized. The election equipment in every county, they're not the same. They're on different systems. They're not hooked up to the internet. They're offline. We do paper checks, hand counts. There's a law in Arizona that some states don't have. We're very proud of this law. We hope we keep it. And that is that every vote has to have a paper audit trail with it. A very important law in Arizona most people don't realize we have. So even if you're ever using one of those touchscreen machines in the polling place, it's recording your vote on paper as well. So there's always a paper audit trail.
Kind of like an ATM machine then.
Correct.
So when some folks say the online voter registration system in Arizona and America, everywhere, online voter registration, that can be and is being compromised.
You bring up an excellent distinction, and we would like to point this out. There's two very separate systems when we talk about voting. One is the registration system, and one is the tabulation system. Tabulation is what we are dealing with on election day, and that is, for the most part, offline, not hooked up to the internet. The registration system is what we deal with all throughout the year. That is online. That is a big database that everyone's tapping into, the state, MVD, all 15 counties. That was subject to an attempted breach in late June, early July. We did have a hacking incident in one of the county computers. It was very scary. And we, through I think a combination of some safety measures and a little bit of luck, we did get lucky there, and they weren't able to breach the database.
But that is a concern, I would imagine. That has to be
Absolutely.
addressed and looked at in the future.
It not only is a concern, it's something we're vigilant about every day, and that doesn't end on November 8th. And that's something that
Yes.
we're concerned with November 9th, 10th, and all through the year. And just to give you kind of an idea of how big that issue is and how serious the issue is, just last month in September, 192,000. So 192,000 times our own IT department had unwanted intrusions into our database, or excuse me, into our systems. So our Secretary of State system, just one 160-person department, had 192,000 pings that they
Yes.
didn't know where they were coming from. They determined that 11,000 of those were malicious, meaning that those were people that were setting out to do us harm.
Phishing.
So that's just in 1 month.
Yeah.
And so if we think that this is something that we can stick our head in the sand and say, oh, we got lucky once, we're always going to be lucky. We're following protocol from the FBI, best practices from our State Department of Homeland Security. We're open to what needs to be done to keep people's information safe.
And I imagine it helps a little bit that it's not all completely, the vote itself is not all completely electronic like the registration is, correct? I mean, you do have that paper trail, as you mentioned. It is kind of like an ATM machine where, yeah, you can punch if you want, but there is a record on paper.
There is a record, and there's also human beings checking to make sure that the machines at the end of the night are tabulating correctly. So afterwards, after the machines go through and count the ballots, their county recorders are also doing hand counts to make sure the machines are counting correctly. So there's so many checks in the system on the tabulation side. So that's why it's really important that we separate those two systems, tabulation and registration. We're very, very comfortable and confident that the tabulation system is not able to be rigged, isn't able to be hacked. The registration system is a constant concern. I wouldn't be doing my job if I wasn't concerned about that day and night. And we've already we saw it in June. Other states have already seen it. So
Another question here real quickly regarding the vote. There's some concern regarding voter intimidation. I mean, everyone's got monitors. I know the parties both have monitors.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about what the parties are allowed to do with their monitors and what average Joe citizen can do just to sit out there and make sure there's no hanky-panky, as they say.
Well, we know that there's a lot of people that are interested in this election and wanting to see what's going on at the polls, and we actually welcome that. The more eyes and ears we have on the ground, and the better for everyone, as long as there isn't intimidation that's going on. So in order, if you want to be involved at the polls and you want to be outside or watching anything like that, you just need to get permission from your party county chairman. So the Democratic county chairman or the Republican Party chairman, you ask for permission to be one of their poll watchers, and then they in turn get permission from the county recorder. So whether it was Helen, who you just interviewed in Maricopa County, or one of the other 14 county recorders, and they will provide you with a letter that says that you're allowed to be there. And we welcome people watching the polls, but we do ask that you have permission to do this.
And again, there's also, I think, a 75-foot bubble, is there not? I mean, those who are
Correct.
allowed inside the bubble get there, but if you're not getting all this...
If you don't have one of those letters and you want
yes.
to stay outside that 75
foot, and once you're outside the 70-foot bubble, you can just yell and scream to your heart's content?
Well, we hope that people don't yell and scream. I do believe Arizonans are better than that.
Well, good.
I've been out
I'm
there
glad you
polls
do.
for years. I mean, as you have, I'm sure, but as a candidate, I've been out there for 15, 16 years, and I've never seen people yelling and screaming. So.
All right. Well, let's hope that that continues.
Yes, let's hope.
Yes. Good to see you again. Thanks
Good
for
to see
joining
you.
us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Friday on Arizona Horizon, it's the Journalists Roundtable. We'll discuss reports that DES Director Tim Jeffries created an enemies list of public employees, and APS launches a $1 million campaign to elect GOP candidates to the Corporation Commission. That's on the next Journalists Roundtable. A reminder, if you want to watch tonight's show again or see what we have going on in the future, check us out on the web, azpbs.org/horizon. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thanks so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.